everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know we have such a great crowd for networking, so I promise that our program will be less than 35 minutes. So 35 minutes of attention. We've got some really amazing speakers, and then we'll be back to open bar and networking time. My name is Jane McCurry. I'm Executive Director at Clean Fuels Michigan, and we are super excited to be hosting our Disrupt event again this year. This is the third time we've hosted this event. In my very unbiased opinion, it's the best work event of the year. Clean Fuels Michigan is a nonprofit trade association. I know we have many friendly faces in the room, but for those of you who may be less familiar, we focus on policy and partnership opportunities to advance the clean fuels, alternative fuels, electric vehicle sectors here in the state of Michigan. And we have a wonderful, small but mighty team. Chase, if you want to give a little wave, is our policy manager. He manages all things government affairs, workforce development, and policy research for us. And Tracy Kachirian is in the back of the room. She's our operations manager, which means that she keeps the wheels on the bus, keeps everything running, and plans amazing events like this one. So if you're enjoying the food and the ambiance, that is thanks to Tracy. Yes, thank you. Like I said, this is the third time we've hosted this event. Super grateful that you're all here in this space with us, and super grateful for the sponsors for our event. Starting with our supporting sponsors, we have the University of Michigan's Economic Growth Institute and Highland Electric Fleets. We have innovating sponsors, Legacy EV and the Michigan Office of Future Mobility and Electrification. Thank you all so much. And we have two incredible presenting sponsors for the event tonight. Consumers Energy unfortunately couldn't be with us in the room, but wanted me to let you know that they have some really amazing rebate programs for level 2 chargers that are available through their Power My Drive and Power My Fleet programs. So if you're interested in public level 2 charging at workplaces, multifamily residences, or for fleets, make sure you take advantage of those Consumers Energy programs. And then our second presenting sponsor is here with us, and I am honored to bring Milena Kabashi up to the stage. She is a board member of Clean Fuels Michigan and the manager of transportation electrification at DTE.
Thank you, Jane. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Milena Kabashi. I am the manager of transportation electrification for DTE Electric, and so honored to be here tonight at Clean Fuels Michigan Disrupt event as a representative of DTE, but also a proud sponsor. This is such a great organization. If you're not a member, please take the time to become one. It's invaluable resources and speaking the same language and making sure we're driving towards the same vision. But yeah, really excited to be here in Detroit, a city fueled by innovation and resiliency. There is no challenge that's too great when we work together. The walk-up song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, it's not just a great hit, but it's really a promise. And at DTE, we really see every challenge or every mountain as an opportunity and as an invitation really to collaborate and work together and drive transportation electrification to new heights. And we've made the commitment over the past year and a half. We published our transportation electrification plan with promising to invest close to $150 million through 2028. Expanding charging access across every corner of Southeast Michigan, whether it's city venues to rural routes. We want to make sure accelerating EVs, it's not just reserved for a few, but powered by all. But it's the collaborations with powerful partners, many of you in the room today, we can't just take the credit, not a single entity can do this alone. And so as we're celebrating tonight's Disruptors, let's move forward with purpose. Remember, there's no mountain high enough. There's no challenge that's too great. And we'll keep charging forward Michigan together. Thank you.
Thank you, Milena, and thank you again to the entire DTE team for all the great work that you're doing. Okay, so before we jump into our speakers, we have given them a challenge tonight. Their slides are going to move automatically on the TV as they're presenting. So they have exactly 5 minutes to give their presentation, and their slides will keep them honest. So the slides are a pretty vital component of this presentation style. So if you're not able to see the TV, I encourage you to scooch to a location where the TV is visible for you. And I also just want to mention quickly that we named this event Disrupt, and within these walls, disrupt is a positive word, right? We're doing new, innovative things that require bold action and bold ideas. And so these are disruptors in the most positive sense of the word. And I'm really excited to hear their presentations. I've been able to click through their slides, and I think it's going to be a really good one. So up first, we have Stephanie Ludwig with the University of Michigan's Economic Growth Institute. Stephanie. We're in a slow walk. There we
go. Yes, this is a challenge, this 20-second slides. So I have some notes to keep me on task. So, all right, so I am Stephanie from the Economic Growth Institute at the University of Michigan. We are an outward-facing organization that has been at the university for over 40 years. At our core, we're really focused on economic growth, and we do this by leveraging the university's resources, technology, research, and expertise to be a catalyst for growth and resilience. So we work in 4 areas: community, company, research, and workforce. And the majority of our programs are grant funded. And throughout the years, we've trended busier when there's some sort of economic disruption. This is when we step in to do our best work. So when most people think about the university, they think academics. And while that is true, we do have some researchers on our staff. The majority of our staff come from industry, economic backgrounds, or have lived and worked in companies and have experienced the challenges that the companies we work with experience. So we work with our companies to be their trusted advisor and assist them in moving forward. How do we disrupt? We help suppliers shift into new markets by connecting them with the right expertise. Our process starts with a deep dive assessment where we develop an opportunity plan that looks at the gaps and opportunities to help move these companies forward with whatever that need is and help to connect them with the right resource. Today I'm going to talk about 2 different companies that we have done this with. The first one is Sigma Powertrain. This is a Michigan company that is reshaping how power moves in electric vehicles, focusing on drivetrain design. So Sigma specializes in advanced EV transmission. Their mission is to provide efficient, scalable solutions for commercial and specialty vehicles, and they're focused on making EVs more affordable while improving performance and reliability. Kind of sound like a commercial. But they have an innovation. They've developed a multi-speed EV transmission that increases range and efficiency. And this plug-and-play architecture really adapts to a variety of different platforms, which is where their disruption is coming into place. This gives automakers flexibility, and most importantly, it's reducing cost and making EV adoption easier and faster. So where does EGI play a part in this? So we partnered with Sigma by connecting them to technical resources and supply chain partners. We help them build capacity for growth to move them forward and navigate new opportunities within the state of Michigan, which has supported them as a leading disruptor in commercial EV drivetrains. Why is that important? So the impact is significant. They strengthen Michigan's EV supply chain. This is supporting fleet electrification. It's creating new opportunities for other small to medium-sized manufacturers to invest in Michigan and help Detroit become a global mobility hub. The next company I want to talk about is Thermatech, or AR Lintern. They have been in Michigan for over 40 years and have specialized in heating and cooling. What's great is over those 40 years, they have really transitioned and grown as they've moved forward. But they are developing thermal systems that perform in extreme climates. So whether it's frigid temperatures or extreme heat, from construction sites to military vehicles, that's where their technology ensures that EV batteries and cabins operate safely and efficiently, no matter what that environment is. So how did EG, hang on a second. What is, I skipped a slide on that. So they work in extreme temperatures with that. So, but we'll talk about EGI's impact in just a minute. So we worked with Thermotech to modernize their operations. So we went in there, they had a lot going, they have a lot of technology, but they didn't know how to use that technology. So we connected them with experts to integrate their payroll, their accounting, their production data, to get this all in one business information platform so that they could utilize that data to become a better disruptor. We also helped them with their cybersecurity. This is very important for companies to protect that data, especially companies that want to work with the Department of Defense. So with those improvements, Thermotech has streamlined reporting, they've improved decision making, and laid the groundwork for digital transformation. And their CEO said, working with EGI helped them modernize and unlock new growth opportunities. So what does EGI do? We help companies in Michigan innovate, compete, and disrupt. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Amazing. All right, up next, we have Mavrick Knoles, who is the co-founder and president of Legacy EV, and someone that I'm honored to call stop walking, a close personal friend.
All right, thank you Jane, Tracy, and Chase for putting this event together. It's always fun to get to join you here. My name is Mavrick. I'm the president and co-founder at Legacy EV. Our focus as a company is on enabling the workforce transformation for the electric vehicle transition. So I didn't know I was going to give 20 seconds on that slide, so that gives me an extra 20, which is great. If you're wondering what that song was, I let my son pick the song. He's 2 years old, and I let him pick the song because, one, that's a tough challenge to pick a walkout song with a bunch of people you don't know and what the vibe's going to be. But two, when I think about the future of the workforce, I really think about what are the jobs for kids like him going to look like in 20 years. So here's an adorable photo of him. I figured it's also going to give me some credit with all of you to show a picture of a cute toddler right out the gate. But I started my career in education. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my journey in the energy industry. I started out in Teach for America, and I never planned on staying in education for as long as I have, but I accidentally fell in love with teaching. But I always saw one main problem with the education industry while I was in school, and that was there was this massive emphasis on you have to go to a 4-year program. You have to. It's the only way to gain meaningful employment. And I felt like really what we need to be preaching to students is that you need to have freedom of opportunity, freedom to choose what career path you want to go down, whether that's going through skilled trades or a 4-year college. There's no wrong answer. So I wanted to take what I learned in education and I wanted to do something different. And so for me, what that looked like is joining a charter school. It was just getting started. And I got to lead a team of math teachers building project-based learning curriculum. So everything that we built in the school was tied to career and technical education standards, as well as like academic and rigorous mathematic concepts, which was a great and really fun way to learn. And it really helped students prepare them for whatever career opportunities they wanted to pursue. And so it's no coincidence that at this point, my co-founder of Legacy EV, Rob Ward, enters into the picture. He's a lifelong friend and somebody that I grew up with. You'll see a slide of him up here in just a minute where him and I both look way younger. This is him, and he was a journeyman. He came up through the electrical trades, was an apprentice, and built a great career. Ended up overseeing massive multi-million-dollar electrical construction projects, and I really looked at his career pathway as a different way to build a meaningful career. Meanwhile, I had friends who had graduated with massive amounts of student loan debt that were having a hard time finding a job. So when Rob approached me with the idea for Legacy EV in 2019, it was opposites attract. He was the guy who drove a Chevy, big block, and was like, government, don't tell me what to do. Don't take my gas-guzzling car. And I was like the nerdy early EV adopter. I drove a 2014 Ford Focus electric. So when we decided to start Legacy EV in 2020, our initial goal was to build a global network of trained technicians to install, service, and repair EVs, as well as build custom electric cars. And that quickly grew into realizing that there was a gap in training. So we built training programs, not just for technicians that were in the workforce, but technician programs for schools as well, to train the next generation of technicians. And as we scaled those programs, we noticed that these programs are filling up, they're getting technicians out of the workforce, but there's still not enough technicians entering the workforce. And so schools were having a hard time meeting the demand of their local workforce. And so as we thought about this program, we realized, like, how do we meet the needs of industry? And we needed to build a comprehensive talent pipeline. We needed to, one, show students that EVs are cool, which they are. Two, we needed to show them that there's a viable career pathway here. And three, we needed to show them that the jobs in automotive and clean energy look a lot different today than they did even 10 and 20 years ago. And so solving problem number one, making EVs cool, we knew that we could do that. We started out making EVs cool. It's a quick little hype video for you, really just showing like how we started, but this is the type of fun stuff that gets students excited about EVs. You can see here, this is a classic Ferrari. It's a Ferrari Testarossa that we converted to EV, that actually built the brand new like production level Ferrari, but also that EVs perform. You know, they can do burnouts, they can do all the normal things that your ICE car can do, but they can often do it better. Problem number two, building viable career pathways. We wanted to get students exposure to careers in EVs at an earlier age, show them what these can look like. So we started a program called EV Innovators Club, which starts in middle school, and then we continued to build and stack upon those skills as students go throughout the full continuum. So then they go into Intro to E-Mobility, and then our EV Technician program, and can move into meaningful careers in the EV industry. And to date, we've had great success. We've trained technicians across more than 20 countries. It's allowed me to travel the world to build out EV training programs in the Philippines and Costa Rica, as well as support hundreds of schools in launching their EV education programs. And it's been a great journey along the way. And so one thing I'm talking about with a lot of schools and workforce development programs as we're building out EV programs is we need to be thinking about skating to where the puck is going, not just where are the jobs today, but where will the jobs be in the future. So there's been a lot of studies been done about job growth in the EV industry, but there's a ton of investment coming into the US right now and around the globe to build out jobs in EV, and we need to be preparing students for those jobs. And so lastly, I think there's a huge opportunity here with the transition to clean energy. The electric vehicle represents a microcosm of so many other skills, whether it's stationary energy storage, instrumentation technology, or advanced manufacturing. Teaching students about EVs at a young age prepares them for so many different diverse careers across the automotive industry and the workforce as it grows and develops. So thank you.
Thanks, Mavrick. These are fun, right? All right, up next we have someone who is setting the record as the youngest speaker ever at a Clean Fuels Michigan event. He is incredibly impressive and has been nominated by Highland Electric Fleets to be a speaker tonight. Mahdi Nasrala is the founder and chair of the Michigan Youth Movement, and I'm very excited to hear him speak.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahdi Nasrala. I'm the chairman of Michigan Youth Movement, youth advocate, and today I'm going to talk about something that has determination, grit, and the energy to win. I'm not talking to the Detroit Lions, I'm talking about youth. Youth voices across Michigan that are changing our day-to-day lives. Oh, I have extra time. Fueled by youth, powered by change, creating change in every moment, in every situation. Youth bring urgency and imagination. They don't just inherit a problem, they find ways to integrate it. When you invite young people into conversations, whether it be, integrating new strategies or creating ways to find solutions, you get faster ideas, sharper questions, and most importantly, the kind of stubborn hope that turns plan into action. This is not an abstraction. Everyone in this room knows that Michigan is in the middle of a clean energy transformation with real jobs, real factories, and real community benefits. That scale means that our students in Michigan can keep careers here, solve local problems, and keep our state competitive for decades to come. And then voice matters, When youth speak up, neighbors listen. When youth lead, institutions respond. That simple truth changes budgets, procurements, and priorities. Oh, I'm doing pretty good with timing, actually. I was not expecting this at all. I know. Courage matters. Young leaders, they risk their reputation to push for cleaner air, safer rides, and better schools. Their courage creates momentum that adults can ride on, that change gets built off of. Their energy is the foundation for our change. If we step into partnership with them, the limits are unimaginable. Action matters. From student petitions to student-built prototypes, youth move quickly. Give them support, and you stop having meaningless debates. You start building for generations, building for our future, and building for everything else. Two amazing examples of this are Mylis and Dam. Both went to the Capitol for a day of action, and they went just not as spectators, but as partners. They met legislative teams, championed bills, and turned rallies into political conversations. That kind of civic muscle is reshaping how decisions get made in Lansing. Even robotics teams on the local level are leadership factories. They teach teamwork, engineering, fundraising, and public presentation. And when funding's out, we don't just lose robots, we lose mentors, confidence, and a whole generation of innovators and disruptors. A great example would be Ford, because look at Ford's support for high school robotics. They sponsor teams, and that turned into an identity. Teams proudly call themselves Ford Teams. That partnership didn't buy a logo, it built a legacy. Employee mentors, community trust that outlast any single campaign and any single dollar amount. Even within my own work, I've been able to build partnerships between young people in power, partnering with public institutions, private institutions, and government agencies to create lasting change and get youth that seat on the table, which they so deeply deserve. Together we've lobbied for clean energy bills, shaped advisory councils, and shown that when Michigan's youth are inside the room, bold ideas move from vision to policy. Even with Highland Electric, I am so proud to work with them day to day to really get the voice of youth in the EV industry. And look, how can we use youth networks across the state to create change and to push the ideas that we want to push for the future? Because while we all sit in this room now, the next generation is out there looking into the EV world, thinking, how can we get involved to keep Michigan competitive? And even when you look at parents, the parents of the kids, the parents of these youth innovators, parents want clean air, safer communities, and predictable cost. When youth lead the outreach, they speak to peers and family with credibility. That community trust moves school boards and makes the political path to electrification possible. Across Michigan, from Marquette to Detroit, from Lake Huron to Grand Rapids, groups are creating change, whether it be organizing clean energy fairs, lobbying school boards, and building technical solutions. These small wins in each section of our state is what makes the tipping point to really move our state forward. Something I'm proud to announce is Youth Recognition Week. Representative Burns and I will be introducing the first House resolution to create Youth Recognition Week from November 10th through 14th. And it's going to be a day to recognize youth and a week to recognize youth in the Capitol. And we're not in Detroit without bringing up Eminem. So I want to leave you with that Eminem quote. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture or just let it slip? Don't let this opportunity slip. Involve youth in your campaigns. Involve youth in your businesses. Let's create real change. And you might have wondered what Fueled by Youth, Powered by Change means. Michigan's youth aren't waiting in the backseat any longer. We're in the driver's seat, licensed to steer change, and we're already on the road. If you want legacy, build with us. Partner with us, and let's create real change together.
How old are you?
60 years old.
Impressive, right? Mahdi, does your school's robotics team have a sponsor yet this year?
Not yet, no. Open. Fine.
I heard it's $2,000 to allow students in Dearborn to have a robotics team. So put that out to the group. Nice job, Mahdi.
Very good.
Up next, we have Lily Paul, who's the Deputy Director for the Midwest for CALSTART. CALSTART has been a wonderful partner for us for many, many years, and Lily leads some incredible bus electrification efforts for them.
Okay. Hi everyone, as Jane mentioned, I'm Lily Paul. I'm Deputy Director in CALSTART's Midwest Regional Office. What CALSTART is, we are a national nonprofit for clean transportation, and we really focus on reducing emissions every way we can in the transportation space. So we are a national organization. I'm, as mentioned, part of our Midwest Regional Office. You will see our Midwest region on the next slide here. And we really are national, but have some global reach as well. We've got global programs advocating for zero emission, but we really focus on the medium heavy duty side. So we really want to reduce those emissions without compromising transportation for everyone. It's really important to make sure that everyone gets where they need to be. Here you can see I'm part of our office in Michigan, and what we focus on is CALSTART has a couple different ways that we break up our teams. We have our initiative areas where we tackle transportation, everything from light duty and innovative mobility, e-scooters, e-bikes, all the way up to Class 8 heavy duty trucks and buses. We really want to capture the whole ecosystem in terms of how transportation takes place and reduce emissions while doing that. We also want to capture the ecosystem in terms of our activity areas. So we involve ourselves in the space in terms of planning, research, grant writing, technology development. We really capture everything that we can to make sure that we have success as we reduce emissions. Now, where we focus the most is medium heavy duty. And here, if you haven't heard of the beachhead strategy, you can follow me afterwards, we can talk about it. But this really captures the different ways that transportation can electrify. And the first wave where we see the most success is transit. So that's what I'm here to talk to you today about, is our transit space. So to start, back in 2018, we started doing a zeroing in on zero emission bus report, the zeroing in on ZEBs, where we tried to capture what was happening in the industry. We found that there were over 1,600 zero emission buses awarded, on order, or delivered and deployed within the United States. Since then, back last year's numbers, we have captured a count of over 7,000 full-size buses. This has really taken place because of a lot of federal investment in the funding, but also all the progress that's happened in the market, a lot of which CALSTART has been involved in. On the next slide here, you'll see the small vehicle space, and we have over 1,100 of those counted in the United States last year as well. So from 1,650 back in 2018 to now in 2024, we've massively grown. How have we done that? What have we been doing? Well, CALSTART really starts with a research approach. So we want to make sure that we are doing this in a way that makes sense and really supports that growth. So we've got many tools available to help the clean transportation space. One of these is our Zero Emission Technology Inventory tool, or our ZETI tool. That's a great place to start. You can use the dashboard to figure out what technology is out there, filter on different transportation types, both zero emission battery electric as well as hydrogen fuel cell, and find out what's out there. From there, we looked into what are some of the biggest barriers to adoption in the transit space, and we have a white paper on this. We've got lots of white papers here at CALSTART, but we found that a huge barrier is procurement. How can we make it easier for people to get the vehicles? Yes, they need funding, but even if they have funding, there's still a lot of barriers to adopting. So what we did next is we partnered with the Michigan Department of Transportation on an FTA Lono award. We partnered with MDOT as well as 6 transit agencies under them to really make sure that we could implement this plan. That white paper references a bunch of statewide contracts to simplify the procurement process where you can just select the vehicle and purchase, but we didn't have any for the small vehicle space. So that's what we focused on with MDOT. First, we did a survey of Michigan transit agencies and surrounding states to make sure there was enough demand to justify doing this added effort. And then we built a team with Michigan DOT, some of our participating transit agencies, and neighboring DOTs in order to make sure that the specifications of these vehicles made sense for everyone. We wanted this to be a resource and break down those barriers. We put it to use, we got a contract in place, and that spurred additional electric vehicles being added to the state contract, and the impact of that has spread beyond those 6 transit agencies. There have been purchases of zero emission buses off of that off of another contract that was spurred by that, and there were purchases throughout Michigan as well as Ohio and Illinois. We don't stop there. We continue to support transit agencies in this space. We have a Midwest Zero Emission Bus Forum that I actually run, where we bring together transit agencies as they're deploying these technologies. We bring together OEMs to really talk through what are the challenges, the best practices, how can we move forward. So that is how CalSTART is disrupting. We've got lots of other areas, but there's our transit snippet, and if you want to learn more, find me after.
Thank you, Lily. It's always nice to incorporate public transit and CalSTART's work into our events, so super appreciative. We have one more speaker for you. Chris Kondogiani is the CEO of Noble Gas Systems. They are a Michigan-based company that are innovating in the compressed high-pressure gas storage industry. So Chris, we're excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, under pressure, that's a double meaning, as you can imagine. So I thought a lot about what I would be able to share with this audience, what I could bring to this audience. And I think one of the things that I could do would be bring you guys underwater to see the furious pedaling that goes on underwater while we're trying to innovate and disrupt as we float serenely along the lake top here. So I grew up in Michigan. I had a traditional engineering pathway. I worked at Chrysler. I was doing all kinds of fun things. I was a test driver. I also did some amateur motorsports, a lot of fun. But I always found this thing inside me that said, it's going to take me too long to get to where I could see the big picture. And I needed to be involved in energy, which I thought was really important. So I started joining early stage companies. I joined a fuel cell company in Ann Arbor, and then we ended up selling that. And then I joined Bright Automotive, which was GM Ventures' first investment. We were a little bit too early to the market, so unfortunately that didn't go as well. So a few of my colleagues and I formed this company called Third Shore Group, and our objectives were to do investments, advisory services, and really find the product that we could get our arms around and build what's next. So we did projects all over the country, all over the world, and but we kept coming back to this. A lot of our customers and clients were coming back to the same theme that we kept seeing, which was, this is mid-teens, 20-teens, and trying to store two fuels, CNG on vehicles, the needs of high pressure tanks just weren't being met by the current state of the art. So, they needed something that was lightweight, space efficient, and cost effective. And the current state of the art are these carbon fiber pressure vessels. And unfortunately, they don't meet any of these requirements of being lightweight, space efficient, or cost effective. And so we started looking around and doing some research about what could be better. And we started looking at this space and looking at the technologies. We found, our favorite idea was this idea of being able to wrap these tubular things. And there's this patent from 1969, J.G. Crowley. Basically, wouldn't it be great? Unfortunately, we had these challenges of how do you hold hydrogen? How do you do burst pressures up to 22,000? How do you do cycling? And can you do it without carbon fiber, which is a significant barrier? So we put a plan together, and that formed the beginning of Noble Gas Systems, just tackling that problem and taking on what was next. And maybe a little bit, optimistic at the time, but it was a very worthwhile challenge. So the question first we came upon was, can we even make a tank like this? How do you make it? How do you form it? Can you even hold pressure with this thing without carbon fiber and made out of all plastic? And you can see that we were able to do that within, say 18 months of the first idea. Second question became, can we certify this? Are the regulations would allow this type of a tank to be certified? We ended up one of the first in the world to do a HCV2 design qualification, and we went through all the design qualification tests for hydrogen gas vehicles and showed that yes, you could do it, and yes, the regulations would allow it. Finally, we had to answer the question, is there a market for this? And so fortunately for us, we've been able to be very open-minded about what markets are available to us. So we play in mobility, defense, bulk storage, and gas transportation markets. And we're starting to see that there's a lot of opportunity there. And then we started building the company, and this is where you have to build all the capabilities that you just took for granted when I was, working at Chrysler. How do you turn the printer on, for example? It's all these things that you need to build up, and starting from scratch is an enormous undertaking, and not to be taken lightly. We've also been fortunate to gain some partnerships and investment with people like the National Science Foundation, Department of Energy, the Department of Defense, and then strategic investments from people like Air Liquide, AP Ventures, and Saint-Gobain, which is a French conglomerate manufacturing of materials company. This has really helped drive us forward. And our current state, we feel like we're really well positioned right now with the state of the market. We have a lot of opportunities. Air Liquide is helping us grow into markets that we didn't know we were even looking at. And we're really happy about the position we're in. This is our new facility that we entered this year, 32,000 square feet in Wixom, and we're growing. From now, where do we go from here? There are already current markets that we can make a huge impact on. We already see emerging markets where we see hydrogen being beneficial over batteries. In the future, we want to be part of this great energy transition that we're all a part of. So that is the origin story, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. It's hard work doing this kind of presentation, so let's give it up for all of our speakers one more time. Thank you all. I'm really passionate about this idea of disruption, and it's really incredible to spend an evening around friends and colleagues who are doing the positive, disruptive work every day. So thank you all for what you do too.